أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا صلى الله على محمد وعلى محمد. Last week we concluded about Prophet Idris alayhi salam. Okay. And the last part that we talked about was his 4 sons, pious, God-fearing preachers who after the death of their father kept on preaching. But later on, their community fell into the worship of false gods. Okay. In their intense love for these sons and Idris, okay, they started erecting statues of them in their homes as reverence first. Okay. That's how it starts. Okay. Caring, praying to Allah, but mentioning the statues and things like that. And slowly that reverence turned into worship. Okay? And that worship turned into denial of Allah. Okay? Or raising these statues at the level of Allah. Or idolatry in the world. It starts with this concept. Okay? That you look at a person who is beautiful, a person who is pious, a person who is God-fearing, okay, and you are impressed by him, by what he does, okay, and you start respecting him, regarding him. Respect slowly increases, okay, it becomes reverence, okay, and then, slowly and steadily, Iblis, puts in your mind, these are the people to be worshipped, Yes, you worship God, but, them also, because they are the reflection of God, for example, or whatever. Even Kuffar Quraysh used to talk to our Prophet like that, okay? That yes, we believe in one God, but these are the ones who lead us to God. Shafa'ana. Okay? So that's how it began. Okay? And eventually, in a few generations, okay, the whole community became idol worshippers, except some Mu'minin, of course, stayed on the course of Idris and, his sons. But the rest became idol worshippers. So except those, who remained steadfast to the teachings of the Prophet, the rest returned. Quran talks about them in Surah Mu'minun, 23rd Surah of Quran, verse number 44, what happened then. One after another, the prophets came and they just, disobeyed them and kept on worshipping the idols. We have some reports that when the idols were destroyed, okay, in the flood of Noah, okay, a few idols that later on became visible were also pertaining to the son of Idris and him. Okay. That's how it was. That's how it was ingrained in it. Yeah. So these people were, of course, followers, and it is to them that Nuh alayhi salam, was sent as the prophet. Okay. Nuh is the first Ulul Azm prophet after Adam. Okay. Nuh, it is said in Surah Al-Imran, 3rd Surah of Quran, verse number 33. Okay. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected him, and before him Adam, after him Al Ibrahim and Al Imran. Okay. These were the selections for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Nuh is the foremost of them. Usually when we talk about history, okay, in Islamic terms, okay, we talk about history before Noah's flood and history after Noah's flood. Okay. This history after Noah's flood continues today. Okay. And one history ended at Noah's flood. Okay. The whole humanity was wiped out except those 80 people who were on board with him. Okay. So everything gone, these are the people who stayed. Noah preached. Assalamu alaikum. For many, many years. What was the age when he started preaching? Okay. Okay. And how much he preached? Okay. Hundreds of years. 950, as Quran says. Okay. So for all these years, 600 of them were at the time of the flooding, and 350 after flooding. Okay. So it's 950 years altogether. Okay. Can you imagine someone preaching for that long? After flood. Okay. Just imagine, how long a person has lived to preach for, 950. Okay. His preaching did not stop with the flood. Even after flood, he was. And when Noah was born, okay, he was the great-grandson of Idris, by the way. Great-great-grandson of Idris. Okay. A son of Idris was Mutawassaleh, Mim, Ta, Waw, Sin, Lam, Ha. Mutawassaleh. Whose age was 969 years. Okay. His son was Lamak, Lam, Mim, Kaf. His age was 773 years. And that's how the generation went to Noah. Okay. In the meantime, after Idris's, death, the reign of his sons, okay, and Idris had 4 sons, as we mentioned last time, and the generation prospered a lot. Okay. They were God-fearing people at that time. Okay. Followers of Idris, God-fearing people, involved in cultivation, farming. Okay. And lived very happy life. Okay. They say that their center was what is sometimes known as Mesopotamia, okay, which is between Tigris, and Euphrates, the 2 rivers, okay, Dajla and Furat, as they are called. Okay. And from there they stretched far and wide. Okay. Also, they took over many other communities around. Okay. And as you know, Adam's progeny had survived. Okay, this part of the progeny, that came from his son Habil, okay, was extensively blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of their tawheed and because of their, piety and goodness. But as I said earlier, for the first time, adultery became a norm in this community after Idris. Okay. So eventually, we are told that Noah was sent. Nuh is preaching, okay, and there is no response. How old was Nuh when he started preaching? By some accounts, 260 years. 60 years. For 340 more years before the flood, okay, he kept on preaching. So 600 years altogether. The earlier preaching, which is before 260 years, was to his immediate, and then universal preaching became at that age. For example, our Prophet's son was prophet when he was born, okay, but he started preaching at the age of 40 to the community. A prophet is born prophet; he does not become a prophet. Okay, that's the key difference that we have from others who believe in the prophethood. Okay, so Nuh kept on preaching. Okay. Quran in Surah Mamnoon, verse number 22 talks about it. Okay. Mamnoon is the 23rd Surah of Quran, and the verse is 22. But a lot detailed in Surah Hud, okay, which is the 11th Surah of Quran, and we're going to go over a few of the verses of Surah Hud, okay, to see, what does a prophet do, okay, and how he preaches. Okay. Verily, there is no better method of teaching humanity than what is ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through his prophet. It's three ways. One, by showing the excellence of character, okay, that no one can raise a finger on. Second, by abundance of knowledge, okay, that is able to answer every complaint that people have, okay, every argument that people make, okay, and every question that comes to mind. And finally, okay, a person's, okay, truthfulness, okay, that can never be challenged. Okay. So one aspect of character is to be good to people, isn't it? Okay. You have to be courteous. Yeah. You have to have a smile on your face, okay, and you have to make sure that you never hurt, disrespect, or disregard anyone. That's one aspect. Truthfulness is slightly different. A person can be all smiling and keep on lying. It happens, right? Most of these politicians do that, okay? It seems they're respectful and they regard you, but they don't acknowledge what affects. Okay? You see this happening in the world right now. Okay? With a broad smile, they keep on lying. Okay. So I keep truthfulness as distinctly separate, from general behavior. Okay, even though it is a part of that behavior, yet it is the key to goodness. Okay? A person who is not truthful, okay, cannot attain any level of piety or goodness in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to be truthful. Quran talks about Prophet Nuh alayhi salam in Surah Hud. Okay. It's a real discussion about his, building of ark and everything. Okay. Right from verse 25, Surah Hud is the 11th surah of Quran. Quran says, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ. We send Nuh to his people. إِنِّي لَكُمْ نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Okay. I am a warner to you. Okay. A manifest warner. Okay. Allah ta'budu illallah. Said that you worship none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inni akhafu alaykum yawma adhabin alim. This is the 26th verse. Okay. He's trying to warn them of pending chastisement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, which is severe, which is destroying. فقال الملأ الذين كفروا من قومه ما نراك إلا بشرا مثلنا وما نراك اتبعك إلا الذين هم أراذلنا بادي الرأي وما نرى لكم علينا من فضل بل نظنكم كاذبين. Okay. Few things they have said. Who are these Mala? Mala are the rich, powerful people in the community. Those who are opinion setters, those who are influencers, in our term there today, okay, in the language TikTok, okay, influencers, those who influence people, okay, those who are accepted as guide, as leaders, by the masses. Okay. So Quran does not name anyone, but says فَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Okay. The leaders of those who had rejected said, min qawmi, from his community, مَا نَرَاكَ إِلَّا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُنَا. The first thing that they always aim at the prophets throughout is Bashar Mithluna. You are like a human being to us. What makes you superior? You're just a human being. Ma nara illa bashar mithluna. We don't see you except a human being. Bashar is a human being. Mithluna, like us. So they are going after the facial and the body expressions of a human being. All human beings look same. But those who are selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though they are in the human form and they are human beings, but spiritually, intellectually, okay, they are at much higher level. Okay? And it is because of their inner beauty, piety, virtue, that Allah has selected them. Okay? So that's the first thing. Bashar, Miswana. That's the one thing. وَمَا نَرَاكَ اتَّبَعَكَ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ هُمْ أَرَاذِلُنَا بَادِيَ الرَّأْيِ. And we don't see anyone following you except those who are inferior. Now this inferiority is material inferiority. Okay? These are poor people. Okay? These are people with no means. And ditto, that happens to our Prophet also. Initial followers of the Prophet in Mecca were poor people. Okay. Many times they say that those who were at the lower social level in terms of money and means, okay, are more receptive to a change that would alter their status, for example, okay, or change that would be better for them or for whole humanity or whatever. Okay. So they are more accepting change than those who are in power. Because those who are in power want to perpetuate their power. Okay. So that the enjoyment that they have, okay, is everlasting, never ending. Okay. So the second argument against Prophet Noah was that those who are following you, are people of no means. They are at the lowest level of society. Okay. Arazalana, Razil, Arazalana, plural. Okay. They are the lowest level of society. But they are without any opinions. Okay. Okay. That's the second. Third, وَمَا نَرَى لَكُمْ عَلَيْنَا مِنْ فَضْلٍ. and we don't see you having everything superior, anything superior to us. What do you have over us? Nothing. Why should we follow you? Okay. And the last thing, bal nazunnuka kadhibin. We regard you as liars. That is where truth and lie comes. Their objection was for those three things, okay? But here the objection is to personality, that you are lying. Okay. That's why I have taken truth as separate. Okay. Lying. The answer, of course, the next verse, قال يا قوم أرأيتم إن كنت على بينة من ربي وآتاني رحمة من عنده. Okay. Don't you see that I am on the truth from my Lord? Okay. I have been given the mercy from Him. Okay. He keeps on preaching. The response is not there. And it is centuries of preaching. Okay. Decade after decade. Okay. And yet, response is not there. Very few people. And then he says, I'm not asking from you anything in return. Okay? And that's the verse number 29, same surah. وَيَا قَوْمِ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مَالًا. I'm not asking you anything in return, money. Okay? Or any possessions. Okay? In ajri, illa Allah. My reward is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My compensation is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So, once again, no prophet seeks from the community any compensation for the work that the prophet does. No. Okay. What he says it, in ajri illa Allah. Okay. My compensation is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Not from you. Okay. Not from you. Okay. In ajri illa Allah. فما أنا بالطارد الذين آمنوا إنهم ملاقو ربهم ولكني أراكم قوما تجهلون. My rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am not going to leave the believers, because there was also a question, that why don't you leave these people alone? Poor people, people of no means and material. You are from a noble clan, okay, after all, okay, and these people are, slum dwellers, so as to say. Okay. And his comment was, I will never leave them. Mamana bitaridin, taridin, a person dismisses, leaves, abandons. Alladhina amanu, those who have accepted the faith, the believers. Innahum mulaku rabbahum, and verily, surely, they'll meet their Lord. And you, walakinni arakum qawmun tajhalun. Okay. And I don't see you except ignorant people. You want me to dismiss them? You want me to abandon them who are believers? Okay. Look at the Mala al-Qawm, which is the leaders of the okay. They are playing on the lineage of, no, you come from a noble family, a holy family. Okay? What do you do with these slum guys? Abandon them. Okay? And ditto, the kuffar of Quraysh come to the Prophet's uncle, Abu Talib, and say that, Muhammad is your nephew, the highest clan Bani Hashim, okay, the progeny of Ismail. Okay. What does he want? If he wants to be the king, we'll accept him as the king of the whole Arabia, not only for Mecca, the whole Arabia. Okay. If he wants riches, whatever wealth is Arabia is his. If he's looking to someone beautiful, we'll have her for him. Usually these are things people fall for, isn't it? Okay. You want power, you want authority, you want money, you want someone beautiful. Abu Talib comes to the Prophet to deliver the message. And answer the Prophet gives is compelling. He says, if they were to put on one of my hands sun and other palm the moon, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. Once again, underlying was that leave these guys who are your followers. Okay? We are accepting you as king. Okay? We are giving you the money. We are giving you what you want. We want to fulfill all your desires. Okay? Throughout the prophetic history then, okay? The mal al-lazina, this word has been used in Quran many times. And when it's used, it's not just, this is an ideology. This ideology is the ideology of arrogance, ideology of ignorance, ideology of challenging the divine rule, ideology that regards everyone except them to be useless, worthless, slum dwellers. And it's going to be present throughout. It's not going to change. Okay. There will be a class of people who would regard people with no means, for example, material means, okay, who are poor, who are destitute, okay, who don't have the resources, as worthless, even though every human being is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and has a worth in his own place, at his own time, in his own space. However, he keeps on preaching. Okay. He changes his tone and he says, when they're constantly hammering him to leave these people. He says, "We are common, O my people. My answer, min Allah in tarata. Afala tadhakkarun." You want me to dismiss them? Who is going to protect me from Allah if I dismiss them, if I abandon them? In other words, the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would come to me. Who is going to protect me? But they are not willing to listen. After many, many years, he says, you are looking for coming disaster. The reply was, "Qalu ya Nuh, qad ja'alna fakasat jadalna." Our arguments have been intense. فَأَيْتَنَا بِمَا طُوِدْنَا إِن كُنْتَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. Bring that chastisement that you have promised, if you are the truthful one. So now the honesty, okay, of Nuh is challenging. Qala, that was the 32nd verse, and this is the 33rd verse. Okay. Qala innama ya'tikum billahu in sha wa antum bimu'jizin wa ma yanfa'ukum nushi in aradtu an sahlakum in kana Allahu yuridu an yughwiyakum huwa rabbukum wa ilayhi turja'un. The long verse, okay. Whatever I have promised is going to come. When? Inshallah, whenever Allah wants. Okay? And my preaching has not benefited you and would not benefit you. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one to whom the return is going to be. So Nuh is content, but they keep on poking him. Okay? Yeah, bring over. Okay? As a bully telling someone in the schoolyard, come over. Okay? We are ready. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Nuh, فَأُوحِيَ إِلَى نُوحٍ أَنَّهُ لَن يُؤْمِنَ مِنْ قَوْمِكَ إِلَّا مَنْ قَدْ آمَنَ. Okay? Oh no, now no one else is going to accept faith in addition to those who have come. That's it. You tried, and these are the people who have accepted it. فَلَا تَبْتَعِسْ مَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. So don't be distressed by what they do or what they say. Okay. That was verse 36. And 37 is the command to build the ark. Okay. وَأَصْنَعِ الْفُلْكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا وَوَحْيِنَا وَلَا تُخَاطِبْنِي فِي الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا إِنَّهُمْ مُغْرَقُونَ. And build the ark under our watchful eyes and directions that we have given. And do not plead with them anymore. Okay. Those who have done wrong, for the shore will be drowned. Okay. Ark is built by Noah. It says it has taken years to build the ark. Okay. And they keep on poking fun at him. Constantly. Sometimes about the ark itself, sometimes about him, sometimes about those who are his supporters, and so on and so forth. So he began to build the ark. And one of those guys passed by that, they poked fun at him, they mocked him. Okay? And this is not me saying or any tafsir, it's exactly the words of Quran. Verse number 38, the same surah, Surah Hud, verse number 3. وَيَصْنَعُ الْفُلْكَ. He started building ark. وَكُلَّمَا مَرَّ عَلَيْهِ مَلَئٌ مِّنْ قَوْمِهِ سَخِرُوا مِنْهُ. Anyone from his people passed by, okay, they made mockery of him. They poke fun at him. Okay. In some books and traditions, when it will be completed? Okay. Who was going to, whatever things, they would try to make fun of him. Okay. Then Nuh said, قَالَ إِن تَسْخَرُوا مِنَّا فَإِنَّا تَسْخَرُ مِنْكُمْ كَمَا تَسْخَرُونَ. You laugh at us, make mockery of us, we will soon laugh at you. Similarly. فَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ مَنْ يَأْتِيهِ عَذَابٌ. And you will soon come to know who will be visited by the chastisement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the chastisement is not only for this life, he says. Also for the hereafter. وَيَحِلَّ عَلَيْهِ عَذَابٌ مُقِيمٌ. The hereafter also. And then Quran says, حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ. This continued, okay, till the time came of the flood. حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَمْرُنَا وَفَارَتْ التَّنُورُ. The decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes. Okay? And the oven burst. Allah, yeah? There are some accounts that say that the place it burst, the flooding started was from Masjid al-Kufa. Okay? The where presently the Masjid Kufa is. Okay. Because Nuh was in that area between the, two rivers, as I said earlier, Euphrates and Tigris. The water, like a cannon, is led open. Quran says, قلنا أحمل فيها من كل زوجين اثنين وأهلك إلا من سبق عليه القول ومن آمن وما آمن معه إلا قليل. This is the 40th verse of the same surah. I picked up this surah because this details, otherwise in Surah Mu'minun, other surahs also, we have the partial description. Okay, and we said, okay, take into account a pair of every species, okay, along with your family, except those against whom the decree to drown has already been passed, and those who believe. The ark, we say, had many floors, okay, a floor for the, animals, okay, species, goat, sheep, and cows, and things like that. For believers, okay, for his own family, okay. So the various floors. And then Allah said, وَقَالَ ارْكَبُوا فِيهَا بِسْمِ اللَّهِ مُجْرِيهَا وَمُرْسَاهَا إِنَّ رَبِّي لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. So, with the name of Allah, the anchor was cast. Okay. And this is something that should be recited when you are on a journey anywhere. Okay. There's one hadith says that, he was revealed that whenever you're in the water and you see a big wave or something that you feel would crush you, okay, start saying La ilaha illallah 1,000 times. Okay? And, he had just said once, and the anchor flew away, okay, and the ark was in the water. Bismillah mujriha, majriha wa mursaha. Bismillah majriha wa mursaha. Inna Rabbi laghafurur rahim, the whole verse. That's the verse number 41. There's one episode that occurred here, which I want to touch today before we leave. Okay, one of his sons. Okay. Three of his sons, Ham, Sam, and Japheth, were with him on the boat, on the ark. One son, Canaan, or sometimes known as Yam, Ya, Alif, Mim, Yam. He stayed out. Okay. There are some accounts that say that even though he was a prophet's son, and outwardly he seemed to be a Muslim, a believer, but inwardly he was not. Inwardly he was not. So he did not embark the ark. When the flood was intensifying, Nuh called him, Ya bunayya, irkab ma'ana, wala takun ma'al kafirin. My son, come aboard, embark with us, and do not be of those who are disbelievers. This verse 42 in the same surah. His answer was, I'll take refuge in a mountain, okay, which will protect me from the flood water. And Noah said, قال لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله. Today there is no protection from the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إلا من رحمه, except those whom Allah shows His mercy. And the waves came between the father and the son. And his son was drowned. Okay? Canaan was drowned. Now here is something that is understood. No. Pleads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does it plead? Okay. وَنَادَى نُوحُ رَبَّهُ فَقَالَ رَبِّ إِنَّ ابْنِي مِنْ أَهْلِي وَإِنَّ وَعْدَكَ الْحَقُّ وَأَنْتَ أَحْكَمُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. Verse number 45 in the same surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is my son from me. وَإِنَّ وَعْدَكَ الْحَقُّ, and the promise that you have made is truth. وَأَنْتَ أَحْكَمُ الْحَاكِمِينَ, and you are the one who are the best deciders. Okay? Couple of things here. No does not say, protect my son or save my son. It's a wrong interpretation that Nuh said, protect my son. No. The words are very clear. وَنَادَى نُوحٌ رَبَّهُ, Nuh pleaded to his Lord. قَالَ رَبِّ إِنَّ ابْنِي مِنْ أَهْلِي, my son is from my ahl. Okay? وَإِنَّ وَعْدَكَ الْحَقُّ, and your promise is truth. وَأَنْتَ أَحْكَمُ الْحَاكِمِينَ, and final decision is yours. When you leave things to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you regard His decision to be final, that's what comes in. Okay? قَالَ يَا نُوحُ, Allah answers, إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ. Allah does not say that He is not your son. He is a son, but He does not belong to you. Why? Because his life and his existence has been defiance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So, it's not the physical proximity that counts. It is not the lineage that counts. It is what a person is in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that counts. How obedient a person is. Okay? And Allah makes it clear. إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ إِنَّهُ عَمَلٌ غَيْرَ صَالِحٍ. Okay? He is non-virtuous. Okay? فَلَا تَسْأَلْنَا مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ. Don't ask me of what you don't have knowledge. Don't be of those who are ignorant. Now, that's key. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had promised Nuh that salvation is going to be for you and your family. Except those, and He quantified. The same for Lut. Okay? You and your family, except, you know what. So when he drowned, Nuh should have concluded, okay, that he's drowned because he is not the part of the promise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made. So directly he did not ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save him, but he was reminding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, astaghfirullah, of the promise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made, okay, alluding to it. Okay. And the answer was swift. Okay. فَلَا تَسَلْنَ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ. Don't ask me of those of which you don't have knowledge. إِنِّي أَعِظُكَ أَن تَكُونَ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. We are those who are ignorant. Okay. Instantly, Nuh understands that, and he says, قَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي أَعُوذُ بِكَ أَنْ أَسْأَلَكَ مَا لَيْسَ لِي بِهِ. Okay. The same words that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used. Nuh is praying with those words. وَإِلَّا تَغْفِرْ لِي وَتَرْحَمْنِي أَكُنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. And if you don't forgive me, and you don't show your mercy to me, I'll be indeed of those who are losers. Nuh has not acted anything wrong. Okay? For hundreds of years he has preached. He has built the ark. He is taking all the specialties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to take on the ark, and the mu'mineen. And yet, what he says, Allah Akbar, وَإِلَّا تَغْفِرْ لِي وَتَرْحَمْنِي أَكُمْ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. If you don't forgive me, and if you don't show your mercy to me, okay, I'll be the losers in our lives. Okay, this must be our constant prayer. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you don't show your mercy, if you don't forgive me, I'll be loser. Okay? In a sense, we don't know how many mistakes occur, how many sins, okay, how many shortcomings, how many failures, okay, throughout the lives, our lives that we may have, and many of them without realizing that a mistake has been made, an error has been made, okay, a shortcoming has occurred, okay, and something has manifested which should not have been shown, okay, and yet we fail to comprehend that without His blessing, His mercy, and without His forgiving, we are always in a status of loss. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. It is slightly a longer discussion, and inshallah we'll continue next week, okay? Because Nuh is sometimes referred to as Adam as-Sani, the second Adam, okay? The first Adam and the second Adam. Why? Because everything was destroyed, and the world started anew. Okay? So inshallah we'll talk about it further. Most of the verses that I've quoted are from Surah Hud, okay, throughout. Okay, there are some verses in Surah Mu'minun, also in Surah Araf, but this gives a step-by-step, rendering of the whole event. Inshallah, I'll see you next week, God willing. Okay, inshallah. Okay. Any questions? Sometimes the words are used in the language itself, okay, and then the words are used in Quran, okay. Then we see a distinct